So far, we have worked quite a bit with text data. Our next objective is to insert some images into our document. We have included 4 images in the download file pertaining to this lecture, so you can use these images or your own set of images. Regardless of which images you use, you must place them in the same folder as your HTML file. This is because we will be using relative file references. We will explain relative versus absolute file referencing in the next lecture. First, let's start with the heading, and we can place our images under this heading. With our heading created, let's create a paragraph so we have some spacing between our heading and the images that we are going to insert. I will start by inserting the first image. This is done with the image tag. The image tag has several attributes. For the purpose of this lecture, we use the source attributes, which defines the location of the image. We'll also use the width and height attributes, which define the size of the image. With our first image created or inserted, let's insert the second image. I will also specify the width and height of this image. And the third image, the image tag, as you can see, doesn't require a closing image tag. For the fourth image, we are going to insert an image from the internet, so we will look for the source. We'll be using the URL of the image. This is called the absolute final reference because it includes the full path of the image. And once again, our next lecture is going to talk more about absolute and relative file references. So this is an image found on Wikipedia page, and I will just specify the width and height as well. So we have inserted 4 images. 3 images have relatively reference. They are located within the same directory as our HTML file. So we have specified the width and height of each image. And for the last image, the source is in an external web page. So we have included of the link to the image and also the width and height as well. So let's go ahead and save this file and preview that it looks like in our web browser. So as you can see, we now have 4 images inserted to our document. To embed video in an HTML5 document, we can use the video element. Inside the element, we can set various attributes. First, we can set the width and height using fixed dimension or percentage. In this example, we have the width set is 600 pixels. So you can see that the video width 600 pixels regardless of the browser window size. If we set it to 100%, the video will take up the full content area of the web browser. We can use the control attribute to specify if we want the user to be able to see the control menu. This includes the play box or the progress bar, the volume and the full screen controller. If you do not want the controls, simply remove the controls attributes. And after receiving the file, you can see that the controller is no longer there. Remember to add an autoplay attribute if you remove the controls, otherwise the video will not play automatically and your user will have no way to play the video or save the following. Refresh and you can see that the video now starts automatically. The autoplay mobile does work in the mobile devices like iPad and iPhone, so that is something to keep in mind. The video element requires that we specify the source of the video. We have including a demo video you can use in the download folders corresponding to this lesson. Just make sure that you place the video in the same directory that you have saved this HTML5. The video is titled v.mp4. Next to this source, we have specified the video type and underneath the source tag. It's a good idea to notify the user if their browser does not support the video type that we all know to upload their browser. Lastly, choose the video tag, and so you can see it's very easy to work with this element. In this lesson, we will explore absolute versus relatively file reference. The concept is best illustrated with an example. In our last exercise, we inserted a video into our HTML page. We did so using the video element, which required a source attribute. We have worked with the source attribute when inserting images as well. The source attribute requires that we specify the source, location and name of the file we want to insert in our document. Since the file we have inserted to this point are in the same folder as the HTML5, we have only had to specify a file name. For example, YMP4. This is an example of relative reference. The part of the file is defined relative to this directory. Now say for example we wanted to insert an image into this document from the external source. for example any other website altogether. For that we need to use absolute forward reference. An absolute file and power requires that we include the complete address of the file as shown in this block of the code that I am about to insert here. We have included a JPEG file from the external website plan wallpaper.com. The full URL out of the file is required for the image to be displayed because it's from an external source. So now, if I refresh the page, we can see that the image is outputted in our web browser. Usually you are up to the image, and if you can see that it is displayed in the browser when we access it, and so that's all there is to it when it's come to relatively universal absolute forward reference. In this lecture, we are going to explore link creation within our HTML document. We will be creating both test links as well as images link. Let's start with adding a link on the images we inserted in the last lecture, ruling each vacation picture to the relevant website. To do so, we'll be using the it tags. Add the following code around your first image. We will start with the opening tag. Following the HFC attribute and this attribute specify where this image will link to, and we have include the complete. In this case, we are going to have it link of Be very careful not to make any typos in the URL, otherwise the link will not work. And that's it for the first link. You will notice that the closing tag and the opening tag encompasses the images tag and the images attributes. So the link must encompass the entire image from the opening tag to the closing. Let's just go ahead and apply a few other links as well to the other images. Now I will just copy and paste this code to save time, and I will change the link source. And note that I have my links created and attached to the images. I will go ahead and save my file and preview this in the web browser to make sure that all links do work. So right away when I hover over these images, I can tell a link is attached to the image because the cursor changes. Let's just go ahead and click on each one to make sure that the links do work. So it's fair that each link does work, and that's how you apply links to images. Now let's go ahead and create text. Now the process of adding links to text is identical, but first we have to create a few lines of a text to apply links. So let's go ahead and create a new paragraph and then just type some text, and we will just indent this text, and now we can begin adding the text links. We can use the same links that we have used last time because we know what they were, and you just copy and paste from other links that we created. Okay, so now that we have our links applied, we can go ahead and just save the file. We will test one of them just to make sure it works. I am sure you get the idea. So we can see our list there, and we will just click on florida.com and it does go to the miami.com website. Now one thing you will notice is that when I click on that link, it opened the link in the same browser window in our original page. A lot of time what you might need to do is open the link in a new web browser window, so then that way the original window doesn't close and the viewer can very easily revert back to it. And in order to do that, we need to add a target to attributes to our stack. So to target actually looks like this, and to specify that we want this page to open in a new browser window, you put a underscore and type in within quotation and that open in a new black window. That's what that means. So just copy and paste that attributes into the other link and then save your file and preview it in the browser. So now we can see that the link opened in a separate browser window, and it's a lot more convenient to switch back to our original page without having to press the back button, and it is look like each one is working in opening in a separate browser window.
Like, subscribe and press the bell icon of Getsitement for future updates.